السيد الرئيس.
Mr. President, we thank you for the resumption of the 10th Special Emergency Session of the General Assembly. We align ourselves with the statement delivered on behalf of the Arab Group, the OIC, and the statement on behalf of the GCC member states. Mr. President, we all realize that the resumption of this special emergency session comes at a critical time and context. The deteriorating humanitarian situation in Gaza Strip as a result of the Israeli attacks against innocent civilians have become catastrophic. They threaten to spiral in a manner that will threaten the security of the region and the world. In this manner, we express deep regret over the failure of the Security Council to undertake its responsibilities in accordance with the Charter. The Council failed to adopt any outcome, neither to adopt a resolution for an immediate ceasefire or a binding resolution regarding the deteriorating humanitarian situation in Gaza Strip. As such, it is important for the General Assembly to undertake its responsibility in safeguarding international peace and security, according to the Charter and its Resolution 377, Roman 5, titled Uniting for Peace. We renew our call for all parties for de-escalation and ultimately working for the full ceasefire, the immediate release of all prisoners, particularly civilians, ensure delivery of humanitarian aid into Gaza Strip, opening safe corridors that allow the delivery of humanitarian aid. We reaffirm again our condemnation of all forms of targeting civilians, particularly women and children, our unequivocal rejection of the siege, the full siege imposed by Israel, the occupying power, on Gaza Strip that deprives 2.3 million people, half of whom are children, of their basic needs, including water, food, medicine, and electricity. This comes at a time when the Israeli bombing has killed more than 6,000 victims in Gaza Strip, including more than 1,700 women and more than 3,000 children. We reaffirm our unequivocal rejection of the policies of collective punishment and the efforts and attempts of forcible displacement of Palestinian people from Gaza Strip and forcing civilians to internally displace or take refuge in neighboring countries, which is a violation of international law. In light of this catastrophic humanitarian situation in Gaza Strip, and in addition to all the diplomatic and humanitarian and mediation efforts that Qatar is undertaking, we also take pride in adopting and presenting this draft resolution submitted by the Arab Group titled Protection of Palestinian Civilian Population. Mr. President, the draft resolution represents the minimum obligations of member states in such circumstances that they should undertake to address the grave repercussions of the situation in Gaza Strip. It addresses a critical vacuum in terms of the situation in Gaza Strip, a vacuum created by the failure of the Security Council to perform its legal and ethical responsibilities. Mr. President, it is very important for the General Assembly, through this draft resolution, provide a legal framework of reference needed for the international response to the situation in Gaza. This should also, the support for this draft resolution should reflect the consensus and unity of the international community towards the fair nature of the Palestinian question, and through the wide support for this draft resolution, send a message of hope to our brothers, our Palestinian brothers, that the General Assembly is united to restore respect for international law, for the Charter. We reaffirm that the only guarantee to achieve sustainable peace in the region is to reach a fair and comprehensive solution for the Palestinian question in accordance to the Arab Peace Initiative and the two-state solution that guarantees the establishment of an independent Palestinian state on the 1967 borders with its capital East Jerusalem, and for the Palestinian people to enjoy their inalienable rights. In conclusion, Mr. President, Qatar continues to contribute to the ongoing diplomatic efforts to find a way out that will stop the bloodshed of our Palestinian brothers and ensure a sustainable political solution in accordance to the well-known terms of reference, and steer the region away from spiraling into chaos and violence. Thank you, Mr. President.